Bleh.
So today we are talking about Piggy out of Spain. Piggy has been making the festival circuit. I've seen the posters. I knew absolutely nothing about it except for one poster image that I kept seeing on Facebook. So I went in completely blind. Spoilers, obviously. I really dug Piggy. I was completely unsure of where it was going to go. To sum up Piggy in a few sentences, I would say it's like polyester by way of Natural Born Killers with a twist of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, all set in a small town in Spain. And you really get the small town vibe. There's something about small town life. Everybody knows each other. There's lots of gossip. In this town particularly, you have the old ladies. They pull out their collapsible chairs and they sit out. Buenos noches, and they sit and they gossip and gab. It's that kind of vibe. There's a communal swimming pool, bridge. It's your quaint European town. And there's a girl, Sarah. Her family owns a butcher shop and she is heavily bullied. The girls are relentless and they call her Piggy. And it's really sad, man. In the first act, we're treated to Sarah just being put through an onslaught of undeserved torture. No torture is deserved. But particularly what Sarah goes through is just horrible. These neighborhood girls, they're getting ready to go to like a festival, some festival with a bunch of the cute boys. And they just take turns being mean, man. I mean, being mean for the sake of being mean in a variety of ways. They are practically unrelenting. Everybody in this town is unrelenting in one way or another. Whether it's the girls being mean, whether it's Sarah's parents, particularly her mother. It's like Sarah can never do anything right by anybody's standards, even the local serial killer. So there's this local serial killer who kind of looks a lot like Seth Rogen. He's like the Spanish Seth Rogen, I guess. And he abducts the girls that were nasty to Sarah. And she comes across them as they're being abducted and whatnot, and she lets it happen. She doesn't say anything. So Spanish Seth Rogen is also infatuated and in love with Sarah to make things more complicated. So he takes the girls and Sarah basically gets caught up in a web of lies. Although it's not really a web of lies. It's like she just doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to tell the truth. A part of her doesn't want to tell the truth because of how nasty and mean the girls were to her. She feels slightly justified. She even goes back and looks at the social media posts that they made about her, calling her and her family the three little pigs, just to like remind herself that this was justified. But the whole town is in a frizzy and there's a lot of back and forth. And the serial killer, Spanish Seth Rogen, he's following her around and stuff, leaving her candy bars and whatnot. There's definitely some sort of sexual tension between her and Spanish serial killer Seth Rogen. And then things go full Natural Born Killers where he basically comes in. I guess he kills the father. He's ready to kill the younger brother with the butcher knife. It's the exact same family that Juliette Lewis has in Natural Born Killers. A mom, dad, little brother. But instead of Mickey, we get Spanish Seth Rogen, who punches the mother right in the face. I mean, the mother just like degrades and humiliates Sarah. You kind of want her to get what's coming to her a little bit. But basically, even Spanish Seth Rogen wants Sarah to be a certain way. He wants her to be just like him. And together they can be this serial killing couple in love. So he brings her to a slaughterhouse where he's had the other girls. And, you know, the parents have been looking for these girls and the police get involved and one of the boyfriends and yada, yada, yada. And it's this whole twisted kerfluffle. Only the boyfriend with the cast. He's the only one who apologizes to Sarah in any kind of meaningful way, although he rolls her right after it, which is kind of crappy. In any case, Spanish Seth Rogen, he hands her a butcher knife and wants her to kill the two girls. They didn't die, they were just abducted. The bully girls that called her Piggy and, you know, almost drowned her in the pool. And it just gets gruesome and violent from there. Sarah ultimately rejects what everybody wants of her, and she just decides to go her own way. What was particularly refreshing about this film is that it stars someone who's heavy. You don't generally see heavy-set people as the star of anything. Typically, it's very unconventional for anybody who's heavy set to be the protagonist star. I mean, that's a gross generalization, but you know what I mean. They don't shy away from Sarah's form either. She spends a lot of time in bra, panties, bikinis. It's like just showing her body, her form, her natural form, who she is. Not to like make fun of it and not to like glorify it, just that like, hey, like there are people of this shape too, and they have their own stories and their own lives. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense in my head. My heart really went out to Sarah too when she starts to stress eat. When I saw her stress eating, I don't know, I could relate to that. Maybe because I stress eat myself, you know, and she's comforted by food. She doesn't turn to booze. She doesn't turn to drugs. She turns to food. I'm really, really glad I saw this film. Like I said, I didn't know where it was going. I didn't know what to expect. And I had a great time, especially the end. Seek it out.